Howdy folks, and you're listening to the Speak Up podcast, a topical discussion podcast surrounding all things mental health. You're listening to episode 5, and I've been speaking to Leah, who is a certified life coach with a focus on health, specifically women's wellness and well-being. So in the episode we talk about Leah's journey to becoming a life coach, where she talks about her sort of focus on hormones and the part that they play in women's well-being, and also the need to focus more holistically on the mind-body connection. So we'll be talking about, is there a need for medication? Is there a clinical need for medication? And where there isn't, is it more of a want and a desire rather than an actual biological need? And we talk about the kind of the arguments around sort of medication and taking a more holistic diagnostic pathway, which is, kind of goes against traditional medicine. That being said, guys, quick disclaimer here: we're not here to advise on medical health and diagnosis or anything like that. This is purely for awareness purposes only. Leah comes with a wealth of experience. She's a certified advanced EMT, emergency medical technician, over in Tennessee in her state in the United States. So she does have that medical experience and background knowledge, and she's also a pre-med student training to become basically a natural doctor or homeopath here in the UK. You might be familiar with that. So that's what she's training to do ultimately. She's currently a life coach with a focus on health, as I've said. She's also worked in a jail over in Tennessee as a jailhouse corrections nurse. So she has had that exposure to mental health through that experience, guys. Really interesting episode. I've really enjoyed recording this. We had a bit of a laugh towards the end, and I asked her a question unrelated to the podcast, and it was a nice finish to the episode. I had great fun with Leah actually recording this. It's been really good fun, and it's had a positive spin on it actually, as opposed to some of the other episodes we've recorded. So it was nice to have that positive aspect to it. I hope you really enjoy it. I hope you get something out of it, guys. And as I always say, guys, please do not use this information as a substitute for professional medical advice from your doctor. So with all that being said, I hope that you enjoy the episode. Please like, share, comment and subscribe across all our channels. I'd really appreciate it to gain some more traction, guys. This is episode 5 with Leah, who has her own company, Living Healthy with Leah. She talks about how you can get in contact with her and her contact details in the episode. I hope you enjoy it, guys, and you guys take care. Bye-bye for now.
Not a problem. Thank you. So my name is Leah. I recently had a birthday, so I'm now 38. I think when we spoke, I was about to have my birthday, and I was 37. So, yay, I'm getting closer to 40. And I am a mom of 2 9-year-old girls. They are twins. And I have a history in the medical field over here in the United States. And like our conversation we had prior to this is that it is a little bit different than y'all's healthcare and mental health. And I have a degree in psychology as well as a degree in pre-med. And I own a company called Living Healthy with Leah, and it is a life, health, and success coaching business. In previous experience, I was a correctional nurse, or I worked in a jail. And I worked on ambulances, and I even owned my own little art store at one point. So that's me in a nutshell.
Amazing. I mean, that's loads of different perspectives that you might have, and loads of different bits of experience as well. So I'm sure you've got a lot of unique insights into this sort of topic matter, especially the whole. You worked in a jail as well as a nurse. I know we touched a lot about that. We talked a lot about that in our prior conversation. And we talked obviously a little bit more about your company, Living Well with Leah. Mm-hmm. And we mentioned about the sort of mind-body connection between, medications and also their relation to the body and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. We touched a little bit about that, didn't we?
We did, yes.
I don't know if you wanted to expand a little bit about that. I know it was quite an interesting aspect of the conversation. You were talking about women's wellness and things like that, and the sort of clinical side of what you're trying to achieve in terms of your studies and things like that. I know you mentioned you wanted to go a bit further with your studies, with the medical side of things.
Absolutely. I want to, I'm working on getting into med school. Yes, over here, we have to take a big test called the MCAT. And it's basically making sure that I can understand the scientific principles that go into medicine. And so I'm studying for that to get in because I want to be a doctor of organic medicine, which means we take the natural homeopathic, or I'm not sure if, do you guys have apothecaries over there? Homeopaths?
I think we sort of we touched on it last time. Like I think it's a naturopath or something.
Yeah, a naturopath. Yes. So it's similar to that, but they have the science behind it to be able to move forward if your body shows that medication is necessary, or aggressive treatment plans with more modern techniques are necessary. Because you don't want to, honestly, in medicine and in physical, mental, holistic health, you don't want to negate any one idea. You want to kind of, have a good balance of what your body needs versus what you think you want. And that's kind of where I come in as right now, currently in my career with my company, is we deal with a self-development inclusive with fitness. And we deal with mainly just helping people understand what their body needs versus what they think they want from television, from all these ads. 'Cause over here, we get so many ads about personal fitness equipment, all these medications, and TikTok loves this one fat burning with coffee and lemon juice, which does absolutely nothing. There's no science behind it. But helping people kind of cut through what you see on social media, helping women cut through what you read on Google and Google Met and WebMD. And we look at medications and we talk with whoever their attending physicians or their therapists are, and we talk with them about the biology of it all. And we break down ways that we can work with the female body. And I specialize specifically with moms and with women, because we have so many hormonal changes throughout our life. Our bodies are constantly changing. Every month we have a very defined cycle, and those hormones, as they increase, they decrease, they increase, they decrease. And unfortunately, that causes a lot of weight gain, weight loss, exhaustion, and understanding the foods that you need, understanding the fitness regimen that actually helps during those different cycles can help you. Either if your body needs regulation, can actually help regulate your body without medications, can also help regulate your body without needing to do extreme dieting, extreme fasting, and not having to do anything completely extreme in most cases. And I would say about 97% cases. But of course, you always have ones that their bodies just weren't born, or their bodies have adapted to not having certain chemicals that, you do need medications for. And we can't negate that because everybody's bodies are different, especially with women.
Yeah.
And so my program, it's called Loving the Person in the Mirror. It teaches you about self-awareness, how to look at yourself honestly, without TikTok, without Instagram, without all the voices in your head of all the people that are telling you you're this or you're that. Such as a personal experience is, I've had people tell me how loud I am, how tall I am, how assertive, how aggressive. And when you shut down all those voices and you use your voice and you look in the mirror, there is a dopamine release. There is a decrease of cortisol when you stop listening to all the other people's voices that you've heard your life or heard over time, and you shut them out for a moment. You close that door and you hear your voice. Your body actually naturally will relax. And that anxiety, that stress that listening to the other voices will cause your body to kind of go into an epinephrine, norepinephrine, fight or flight. And when you stay in that constant state of fight or flight, your body reacts to gaining weight. you actually can decrease your intelligence or your reaction time because you're having to filter through and reorganize so quickly. So when you shut all those voices out and you listen to your voice and you listen to your thoughts, your reaction time becomes quicker, your thought process becomes clearer, and you get rid of what in the medical field we call the brain fog.
Yeah.
And you basically start breaking a habit. They call it it's a habit chain or a habit loop, and you are able to break that down and restart what you're doing and how you react, and your body restarts, and you'll start to lose weight, you'll start to have more energy. And the program that I have is proven to work naturally for about 97%. There's always that 3% of individuals that they need care that's outside of life coaching and health coaching. And for those, I work with them to help them find the programs that is helpful for them when they come across my program.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. The you were saying about, the body, your mind is able to sort of regulate, your body effectively. When you were saying that, you drown out those negative voices and that sort of, I guess, the internal criticisms that you're taking on board from what other people have said to you. And once you actually do that, it's really transformative from what you've said. You mentioned as well, obviously we've touched on it already, that you worked in a jail as a nurse there. How would you say that your experiences in that role kind of led to what you do now in your current business? Was this pre business, or was this post business sort of thing, or?
We could say it was mid business because I was actually in training to get my certification for life and health through an international company called BCI and our BHC. I'm sorry, BHC. I don't know where I got BCI from, but I was in the middle of it, and I would say it definitely confirmed a lot of my program for me, and it showed me areas in which I could do a lot of good and focusing, because I did get to work with mental health quite a bit. And it was really sad because it was more about the medication and less about the holistic approach. And I saw how detrimental this was to so many of my patients. They were gaining weight. They weren't getting vitamins. They didn't get any exercise. They weren't allowed outside. And their mental health, I watched it decline. They would come in angry or on drugs, or maybe even just coming in for a misdemeanor. And within a week, they were pale and sick and aggravated and angry and frustrated. And there was just so much to be seen. And there was so many strong medications being given to patients. You would come in on absolutely nothing, and within a month, you'd be on 3 or 4 antipsychotics.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
It confirmed for me that this was the right path to help people. If there was a way that I could reach out and work with these individuals before they even make the choices to go to jail, that leads them to jail, if I could reach out and teach others about the holistic idea of self-development with fitness and being self-aware that you're worth loving. And that's a lot of what I teach, is that you're worth loving. And so many people don't understand that when you hear the words "you are worth loving," it has this amazing change, because so many of us, especially those that have been diagnosed with different mental illnesses, or as some people even call it, possibilities for change, they don't realize that not everything is their fault. They haven't been told that not everything is their fault. They haven't been told that you can look in the mirror and say, I'm okay. I'm not okay. This is not my fault. I don't have to be the victim of this. I'm worth loving, and I am enough as I am. Because so many people forget, and we hold to the truth that if somebody tells us this, it must be true. And it tears down our self-esteem. And if you hear it enough, because people pick up on weaknesses, you start to believe it. And when you start to believe it, you have a chemical change inside of your body. And the work we do in loving the person in the mirror is we stand in front of the mirror and we look at ourselves. Because I come from, I don't know, I come from a traditional Southern home. We bring out that Southern accent. And over here, the expectation is, especially in a deep South Southern home, is you do not talk about mental illness. You do not talk about having problems. If you are depressed, you suck it up. If you are sad, you suck it up. You have to be happy. And as a Southern woman, your job, especially in my family growing up, was you become a caretaker. You become the wife. You become I definitely broke the rules in my family. You become the wife. You become the caretaker. You raise your children. You take care of the home. And if you have problems, you don't do anything about it. You just stay in the house and you suck it up because you have to be tough. And unfortunately, with my family, my grandmother was very much that way. She didn't start working outside the home until my mother was almost grown. And it was just because she wanted to go and be able to buy whatever she wanted. She just wanted the extra money. And my mother suffers from, and I got her permission before sharing this. My mother suffers from manic depression with suicidal tendencies. And when I was, I guess, about 17 years old, my mother tried to kill herself for the first time. And so that was my first real introduction into mental health facilities, because my brother walked in and stopped her. Wow. And, she got institutionalized for the first time. And she would do this 5 more times before they finally got her regulated. And come to find out, when she had a medical procedure, they did not do hormone therapy. She had a hysterectomy, which really messes up your hormone balance as a female. And she had no dopamine. Her body wasn't making dopamine. It was overcompensating with serotonin. Yeah. Unfortunately, when you have that, your body, you can't be happy. And then all of a sudden this neurotransmitter would shoot out and it would be dopamine, and she'd get really super manic. And there was no balance to it. And then the dopamine wouldn't be there, and she would drop, and she would decide that she needed to enter life. So they finally got her regulated, and it took, 20 years to finally get her fully regulated. It wasn't until about last year or the year before that they fully got her regulated to where now, but it's taken almost 20 years. And it's just because we just biding our time. Just go to Georgia, go to Savannah, go to Charleston, and you just ask any old Southern lady or gentleman, they'll just tell you it's because we are biding our time. The Yankees stole it from us. Just ask any Southern. Go down to Alabama, and they won't even talk about the Civil War because of all the different marches. Because, we just had our Black History Month, and that was in November, or not November, but February. And if you go to Alabama, it's all about nothing about the Civil War. They don't give a rat's hind end about the Civil War. There's a fun statement for you, rat's hind end. It is all about the different marches during civil rights. They are still fighting the civil rights in Mississippi and Alabama, especially in private homes. That is a huge civil war, I guess you could say, going on. But down here, we have different accents for each different state. And we have different words, such as one thing you found funny in our last conversation was yuns.
Yuns, yeah. Yuns.
So in Tennessee, you can tell what part of the South you're from by how you pronounce you all. So if you're from the North, they say you all. Like, are you all coming to dinner? Or are you all coming to brunch? If you're in North Carolina or South Carolina, y'all coming to dinner? We got the dinner going, y'all coming? And that is honestly how my grandparents speak. And my cousins all speak. If you're in Tennessee, and this is how my neighbors speak, is yuns coming? Yuns come on, yuns. Dinner's coming. Dinner's ready. Supper. We're going to have barbecue. I'm telling you right now, yuns and y'all.
You just listened to episode 5 with Leah, who owns her own company, Living Healthy with Leah. She's a certified life coach with a focus on health, women's wellness, and she's also worked as a jailhouse nurse in the corrections department in Tennessee, where she comes from in the United States. Really good episode, really enjoyed it. We talked quite a lot about Leah's background, how she came to running her own company now. We shared some of her contact details in the episode there, and I'll leave those in the description in the episode, guys. Also, we talked a little bit about Leah's personal family experiences with mental health, and through her experiences working in the jail and things like that, and how she wanted to make a real difference to people's lives. We talked about also the sort of mind-body connection. More importantly, that was the primary theme of the episode, was the mind-body connection and the need to kind of take a more holistic approach to diagnostics and focus on the whole body, particularly in relation to women's wellness and hormones and things, in the part that they play on women's well-being, basically, and whether there's a need for medication in some cases. Obviously, we don't dispute that. And quick disclaimer here as well, again, we don't dispute that some people may need medication. They're very, very extreme cases, people with psychotic illnesses, schizophrenia, things like that. We're not trying to provide diagnostics at all in any official capacity. We're just simply saying that, this is the approach that Leah takes, and she wants to kind of take going forward, and she wants to train and further study to become a naturopath, a natural doctor of natural medicine, similar to a homeopath here in the UK. There's very similar terms used across the Atlantic over in the US. So guys, that was episode 5 with Leah. Really, really enjoyed it. Really positive episode. We had a bit of a laugh towards the end, as I've said. I asked her a question unrelated to the podcast. I asked her, can you tell me something really interesting about your state of Tennessee? And we had a bit of a laugh there. If you want to find out more, scroll towards the end of the episode, and you'll hear more about that. I had a really good laugh recording it, actually, and it's been a real positive one. So guys, I hope you took something from this episode, and as always, you guys take care. I look forward to having you on the show for episode 6. Bye bye for now.